Well, good morning, everyone. This is Sabrina saying hello from Massachusetts. Welcome, everyone, to our webinar. We're about to get started, so thank you all for joining us today. It's wonderful to see so many people joining us for Encore Live in Paris. So we'll just wait maybe another 20 seconds or so to make sure everyone has a chance to log in, and then we can say hello from Paris. All right. Well, welcome to Encore Live Paris Edition. I'm Sabrina Nikoloff, a regional director here at Encore Tours, and today we're very excited to share some live updates about the reawakening of the music scene in Paris. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our two guest speakers today live from Paris. Alain Doff, our fabulous concert manager in France who has organized many performances for us over the years. Bonjour, Alain.
Bonjour, Sabrina.
Welcome. And I'd also like to introduce Till Aly, a renowned conductor and music director for the Chœur de Paris. Bonjour, Till.
Bonjour. Good morning.
Good morning. Over the next half hour, Alain and Till will share an insider's perspective of three beautiful venues in Paris, where some of you may have even performed in the past. They'll also provide a glimpse into a recent choir rehearsal conducted by Till, and we'll finally finish by introducing an exciting new festival opportunity in the summer of 2021 and beyond. Just a few housekeeping items before we begin. Attendees, you are all muted. However, we truly welcome any and all of your questions. So please take advantage of the Q&A function to write in your questions as we go along, and we will do our best to address all of them by the end of the webinar. Thank you so much in advance. We also wanted to let you know that we are recording this live event, so you can access it at a later time. All right, so again, merci to everyone joining us today. Let's start with a fairly broad question. Alain, can you tell us what's happening in Paris right now?
Reopening has reopened. It's been progressive. It has started from May the 22nd, and we were first able to travel 100 kilometers away from our homes, and now we can travel pretty much everywhere we want in France. Cafes and restaurants, always within the rules of distanciation sociale and safety, have reopened. First the terraces, now inside as well, and all over France. Churches have reopened. Cinemas opened last week. The Eiffel Tower just opened this week, and the Louvre, the first two floors, and the Louvre will reopen early July. So it's, always within safety rules, it started reopening. The music scene, rehearsals have started again. Till will have a more sort of detailed, information, first-hand information, because he has a choir himself. And big festivals have been, postponed, and smaller ones have been maintained for some of them throughout the summer. But the big events, like more than 5,000 people, are not allowed yet. But there's rehearsals. Schools have started again, and they do, whether it's theater or music, rehearse in half. There's a half class for school, half theater troupe, and half choirs, as well as for the audiences. It's whether it's in churches, you don't call it an audience in church, I suppose, but churches, you have a separation with the chairs, and for the audiences in theaters and venues, it's the same thing. So they pretty much work at the half capacity. But it is happening. It's reopening. We're granted with gorgeous summer weather and a very quiet Paris, which we're not used to. I mean, it is pleasant as a Parisian to enjoy a little quiet, but we're looking forward to everybody coming to visit us again soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as traveling, we're allowed to travel everywhere in Europe as from June 15th. And so it's looking good.
That's great to hear. Fantastic. It definitely seems that you're clearly ahead of where things are in the US at the moment, which is really encouraging and great to hear. And I understand that we've recorded a few short videos to showcase some of our favorite venues in Paris and just to see what's happening at these venues right now. So let's start with a short clip from Saint-Germain-des-Prés in the heart of Paris. Encore Boston, could you please cue up that video?
My name is Till Aly. I'm the conductor, music director and also composer of the Chœur de Paris, les Muses et l'Orchestre des Musiciens d'Europe. I'm very happy to be able to announce that we rehearse since the end of May again. For our next program, we will play works by Brahms, by César Franck, by Bach and many other composers. And respectful to social distancing, we are able to rehearse. As you know, since yesterday, the 21st of June, theaters and cinemas opened again in France, and also the restaurants. And so it's important, I think, to all of us to project our art and to share our art for next season. And this is why I'm particularly proud to be the music director of the Festival des Trois Châteaux next year in the Loire area, and to play and to share Gabriel Fauré with you. Just before, we will be at the Théâtre du Châtelet, the big theater of the city of Paris, with St. John's Passion by Bach. We will play symphonic and choir works by Brahms, by Beethoven, of course, Missa Solemnis and other works, and César Franck. And it's important, I think, to all of us to project, to have great projects and to share our art with people in France, in England, and the United States, and from all over the world. Just here in front of Saint-Germain-des-Prés, a church that was built 1,000 years ago, it reminds us that art not only keeps us alive, but it's what the best thing that we can do, and a thing that will last for centuries and centuries. Just before the lockdown, the 28th of February, I conducted here the great C minor Mass by Mozart. And then during the lockdown, we continued via Instagram, Facebook and others to continue our rehearsals and to start again in May already with a B minor Mass that we will play here after the summer. And at the same time, we're rehearsing already works by César Franck and other great composers like Brahms that we will play here and other beautiful places in the center of Paris. What is very inspiring here, that it's one of the rare painted churches in Europe. As you know, maybe even in Greek times and the medieval times, sculptures and churches, they have been painted, but then this tradition stopped again. So I'm very happy to be here with the Chœur de Paris and the Baroque orchestra I conduct just after summer.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Till, for that great video and insight into the beautiful Church of Saint-Germain-des-Prés. It's really interesting to know that you're back to rehearsing. And I would love to know, what do your rehearsals look like right now?
I thought it was very important just after the lockdown to start rehearsing and singing and playing together. So first of all, in May, we started our first rehearsal in one of the parks in Paris. And then we went to big rehearsal places and with great windows, and to be respectful and to keep always safety in mind, but at the same time to be hopeful and to look forward artistically, because it's very important as well. And this is what we do. It's a question of balance, but we have been doing this since 5 weeks now, and I must say it works well.
That's wonderful to hear, truly. And actually, we have a clip of a recent rehearsal that you were organizing. So we'd love to see that video to kind of get a sense of how you're, conducting rehearsals and just to, see it on the ground. So let's take a look at that video right now. Wow, it's so wonderful to see live music again, I have to say, and so encouraging. It's incredible to just really see the creative steps that you've taken, including rehearsal indoor and outdoor at the same time to prepare for the performances. How wonderful. And I'm curious, Till, how did it feel conducting under these new, unique circumstances?
Well, I think it's very important for all of us to be creative with this situation. That's very, very important. And to be inside, outside, and to sing Brahms' Requiem only as a quintet or as a quatuor, it's quite challenging. But at the same time, I think it's a good preparation for fall. And so we have 50% capacity of the concert hall for fall. This is what the French government announces right now. And we sell already lots of tickets. So it means that people want to go out and want to be back to concert halls. And this is why we are motivated to be creative with our rehearsals today. But at the same time, we have to rehearse to be ready after summer.
Absolutely. That's great. I actually was curious about the audience capacity. So in France in general, they're restricting audiences to about 50% capacity at the moment.
That's what they do right now. It's the same in Germany and in Switzerland. Well, if we keep safety in mind today, I think there's a great probability that it will be this way. So the more we take care of everybody and ourselves, I think it will work. So we all try together, and we are optimistic.
That's wonderful. Well, it's great to see that music is being made again. It's really wonderful, I have to say. Thank you so much. You did mention that rehearsals started back up again in May, but I know that some locations have only opened up in the past few weeks, one of which is quite exciting. It's the Parvis de Notre-Dame, so the square in front of Notre-Dame Cathedral, which we all know has been closed after the devastating fire that took place in April of 2019. So we have some live or some recorded footage of recent times at Notre-Dame to take a look at what's happening at the cathedral right now. So let's take a look at that video and see for ourselves.
During the terrible fire in April 2019, the firemen fought for 15 hours to save this beautiful cathedral. They did protect most of the interior. They protected the organ, the great Cavalier organ. And we are very happy now to see that already in May last year they restarted to restore Notre-Dame de Paris. There's an interesting discussion going on now in France about the way the roof might be restructured. As you know, the spire of Viollet-le-Duc fell down last year, and you still have the gargoyles, which have been constructed in the 19th century only. So it's interesting also to add things to this Gothic cathedral today, as it has been done in the 17th, 19th century, and now in the 21st century. Macron said last year that the cathedral will reopen only in 4 years, and so we are all waiting and watching at the cathedral every day to go inside again, to play concerts and to listen to the beautiful organ.
Well, I'm sure that video inspires memories from many people here, including myself. Notre Dame is so iconic. It's great to see that the restoration work has now resumed. Alain, do you know what they're working on currently?
Well, I still mentioned the organ is being worked on. I mean, the great Cavalier organ was left intact. It was not flooded with water or burnt or anything, but it was covered in smoke. And so they've been working on cleaning up all the pipes, and it was interrupted obviously with confinement, but they're back to working again. One gift of the sort of authority back to the Parisians and the rest of the world was with the end of confinement, when the reopening of Le Parvis, having the access to Le Parvis, because during the fire there were a lot of lead fumes, that were spread in the vicinity of the cathedral and on the Parvis. So they did a very thorough cleanup of the area, as well as covering it with some special varnish to make it completely safe for people to go back to Le Parvis. So that was one of the gifts. So that's one of the good things. Obviously, President Macron committed that Notre Dame will be reopened 5 years after the fire. It's been a year. They actually rang the bell in April for the first anniversary to show that it is still, that is getting restored and it's in progress. Yeah. Voilà. So it's a place where we've had many choirs with Encore perform and sing mass. So it's going to be a while before they come back, but they will. In the meantime, when we have choirs that we started for, before confinement, having choirs perform in other major churches, the Grand Mass at Saint-Sulpice, for instance, is a very, very prestigious performance that choirs of quality can integrate in waiting for Notre Dame to come back, which it will. And that's pretty much what I have on Notre Dame today.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the update. It's great to hear that there's so much progress being made, and that's quite a ambitious opening date for 5 years from the fire. But it's wonderful to see that is a possibility. I surely hope it will reopen. We can have choirs sing there again. That would be fantastic. We do have a question from the audience. Thank you so much, Sean, for the question. I think it's a great one, actually, and I'm sure others are wondering too. And I think this could be Till, if you could speak to this, I think that would be wonderful. So Sean's asking, is there a reason that masks aren't being used during the rehearsals? He's just curious about it, if you've used masks at other rehearsals, or so if you could speak to that, that would be great and hear your thoughts on that.
What we do here in France, you have to keep a social distance from 1 meter. And of course, if you sing in a row to the same direction with a distancing of 1 meter, that's all right. Myself, as the conductor, I have to be at least 4 meters, about 12 feet away from the first row. And all the windows have to be open. So this is why we started outside. And they have to be, it's good to have lots of wind and current air in the room. That's what many scientists say here in Europe. Of course, they don't all agree with each other. And this is what we do since some weeks. And also I saw photographs from the way the sound of the voice comes out in comparison to the spoken language, which is quite similar at the end. And the probability to get infected if we keep this safety rules in mind is very low. So this is why we do it.
Okay, great. That's really great info. I think just knowing what the regulations are between people and between yourself and the choir, it's fascinating. Thank you, and thank you, Sean, for the question. That was a great one. We actually have another question from the audience, Paige Long. Thank you so much for the question. So how are orchestras with wind players handled? What about flutes? Because Paige is actually the music director of a flute orchestra. Do you know anything about other orchestras or wind instruments? How are they able to participate in rehearsals? If they've made any special arrangements?
Yeah, well, it's similar to the voice. With the wind instruments, they have to be 3 meters behind the strings. The strings, they can have the same social distancing as choir singers, but 1.5 meters, because they are not in a row, but they are in a half circle.
Right.
Winds behind, they have to be, as I said, 3 meters behind. The only issue that is more difficult it's for the flute traversière, because it's the instrument, and the way the wind comes out, it's so much focused that they have to be 5 meters away, or they just play in another direction. And this is what they try since 3 weeks now with the Munich Philharmonics in Germany, and also the Berlin Philharmonics. Here in Paris at the Philharmonie right now, they only give video concerts, and they will start again after the summer.
Okay, great. That's really interesting information, and I hope that answered your question, Paige, just speaking to flutes specifically. Thank you. It's great information. And thank you for the question, Paige. So we have another video to showcase another wonderful venue in Paris where we have organized many concerts over the years. The beautiful Church of La Madeleine, also in the heart of Paris, has a very rich musical history and connections with many important composers. And so let's take a look at this video where Till will tell us a little bit more about the church and the music there.
We are here in the Église de la Madeleine, where Gabriel Fauré conducted for the first time his Requiem in 1888, a great masterpiece from the late 19th century. Fauré at this time was the organist here and conducted many concerts at this time. Myself, I'm proud also to conduct Fauré and many other things here in the Madeleine. During this concert, the great other composers of this time like Gounod, Widor, Saint-Saëns we're here to listen to this unique musical language proper to Fauré. And at the same time, as you know, it's a link of Frédéric Chopin, who was here as well, to the later pupil of Gabriel Fauré, Maurice Ravel, in the beginning of the 20th century. This is the great Cavaillé-Coll organ, constructed in 1842 here in the Église de la Madeleine. Camille Saint-Saëns and many other great composers played here, as well as Gabriel Fauré. And many great musicians of this time gave concerts here, like Franz Liszt, Clara Schumann, Anton Rubinstein, and the great Austrian composer Anton Bruckner. Gabriel Fauré himself played here for over 20 years as an organist and also as a choir master, and he influenced the late 19th century with his music and his composition, and was a great link between the romantic composition and later the music by Maurice Ravel, Erik Satie, and many other composers of the 20th century.
Thank you so much, Alain and Till, for giving us a glimpse into the musical life of beautiful Paris. It's great to see that things are starting up again, rehearsals are taking place, music is happening. That's wonderful to hear and so encouraging. And it really, seeing the videos really makes me reminisce about the cherished time that I spent in Paris personally, as I'm sure it does for many people watching, so thank you. So there are so many wonderful venues in Paris and in France in general, of course. And today we're also going to highlight a wonderful new festival taking place in the Loire Valley in the summer of 2021, entitled Le Festival des Trois Châteaux, or Festival of Three Castles. Alain and Till, could you please tell us a little bit more about this wonderful festival?
Yes. So thank you, Sabrina. The Festival des Trois Châteaux it's an opportunity for choirs of all countries in the world to get together around the performance of a beautiful Requiem de Fauré that Till will conduct, and there will be a master class the morning and the day before, and it's a 4-day opportunity of getting together around music and culture. The Loire Valley is the heart of French culture, and many of the chateaux date back from the Renaissance, so we'll get a little later, and we selected 3 key chateaux that are very central. On day 1, the groups will arrive, and the welcome, get all together, the participants will get together, will be welcome at the Château de Blois, which was one of François I's. It's got like several parts, but François I was the original commissioner of the place. So that's one chateau. And on day 2, the groups will have a chance to perform in the chapel of the Château de Chambord, which is the most iconic. When people think Loire Valley, they think Chambord. So it'll be a daytime performance on the grounds of the Château de Chambord in the chapel. And on the Saturday, there'll be an evening concert in the Château de Cheverny, also one of the famous chateaux. For the little sort of anecdote, the Château de Cheverny was used as a model for Captain Haddock's Château de Moulinsart in the Tintin comic series, but that's little something. So people, sometimes in France, people know the Château de Cheverny without knowing it is the Château de Cheverny they see. And so that will be in the Orangerie of Château de Cheverny. And Château de Cheverny hosts like a big jazz festival every summer. So there's the whole region, whole area is very sort of music-minded. So it makes for a dedicated audience, that are very sort of, they love this, come and listen to music in Cheverny. Voila. And then on the last day, Sunday, and until we'll be able to tell you a little more about it, we'll take place the late afternoon concert in the Cathédrale de Blois with le Chœur de Paris, obviously that is Till's choir is committed, and the Chœur du Conservatoire de Blois, Conservatory of the city of Blois, who's committed in participating. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I'm going to let Till say a little more about the specific music parts that he's handling. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alain. The core of the Festival des Trois Châteaux is to play major French music in one of the cradle of French history and French art, the Loire area. And one of the key works, as I said already, of the late 19th century is the Requiem by Gabriel Fauré. So I'm very happy and proud to play this wonderful work with many choirs from all over the world, and with the Chœur de Paris, the Paris Chamber Choir, in this beautiful cathedral of Blois, and at the same time to open for all choirs and for singers to take part of the rehearsals, the concerts in the cathedral and the castles, and at the same time to take part, if they want to, during the master class, to conduct themselves a part of the rehearsal, and to get into the special sound and the unique language, musical language in their harmonic and melodic way of Fauré. Because you know certainly that Fauré is the only French composer who never studied at the Paris Conservatory, because it was not his musical language. But at the same time, later on, he became director of the Paris Conservatory, because, like Debussy later, he found a new language, and it's a unique way. And I'm very happy during this festival to discover with all of you this masterpiece.
Fantastic. Wow, it sounds like a very exciting opportunity and festival, and for our choirs from the States to participate in. And you are planning to, 2021 will be the inaugural year, but after that it will be an annual festival. Yes. So there'll be plenty of opportunities if any choirs are interested in taking part in this wonderful festival. Thank you so much. So let's see if we have any other questions. I don't see any, but if you have, if anyone has a question, this is a great time to type one in there, and we can certainly address it. But I just wanted to mention that we will be having many more Encore Live events over the next few months, and so please take a look at our website or stay tuned for more events coming up to stay up to date with what's going on in Europe. I think while we in the States can't unfortunately travel to Europe at the moment, we will be in the future, and it's just so nice to see footage and to see these places that we all love come alive for us here. So thank you, Martha, for the question. So nice to have you here. Martha's asking, how do we get more information about the festival? Alain and Till, the website will be available soon. Is that correct?
Yes. By mid-July, the website will be up. It's under construction, but it's coming up.
Fantastic. So, and once that website is completed, we will have it on our Encore Tours website as well. So we'll have more information there for sure. So I think we are around kind of wanting to wrap up this wonderful session. Thank you to Till and Alain for all this wonderful information and seeing these this footage from Paris. I know it made me nostalgic. I'm sure it did for others as well. And as we say au revoir and à bientôt, we're going to play one final track, Fauré's Libérame, conducted by Till at the Église de la Trinité in 2018, to kind of send you off on the rest of your day with some beautiful music. Thank you again for joining us today, and I will say au revoir and à bientôt.
Au revoir.
Merci.